Hey haters, I'm still here. I know it sucks for you, but I'm still here. So, I have been trying to make a video for several days, but I'm so busy. And every time I go to make the video, it doesn't really come out with what I want to say. So that means that I'm not receiving God's word properly. I needed to take time to receive God's word and hear Him and hear the direction that He wanted me to go. One of the things He wanted me to do is talk to you more about this shame that I have on me, you have on you, that we constantly are trying to put it in a box, set it down, and leave it somewhere so somebody else will just pick it up and take it with them. Alas, we still have this box, right? So I was made, even as an older adult in my 40s, by my stepmother. She made me feel ashamed for the people that I associated with. So, and by that I mean, for example, my youngest daughter, Grace, who is blind in one eye from an accident during the court cases that I've talked about in my shorts. She was being bullied in third grade by a little girl, and so when she came to me about it, I said, "Okay, well, let's meet the problem head on," and we invited the young lady to our house. And for the rest of their academic career, they were friends. So sometimes you have to meet that type of situation, head on. And that's the kind of things that I do. My stepmother used to tell me that my siblings that she and my dad adopted when I was an adult, they had started adopting children. She would tell me, "Oh, they haven't lived the kind of life that you have. They don't understand where you come from." In other words, she didn't want me to talk about it. And it made me feel ashamed. So I'm 56 now. That was when I think I was 42. She told me that. She just really didn't want to see me shine at all, like at all, unless it was how she wanted me to shine. She would try to diminish my looks, my feelings, my ability to move about. She also kept me from my grandfather on my dad's dad, because when my dad had his double lung transplant, um, my grandfather was still alive. My grandfather didn't die until 2 years after my dad. And he was in a nursing home around here that I was not told about for like 7 years that I was here. I tried to look for him. I couldn't find him. So he passed away, and I was never allowed to see him or speak to him. And I was told that he was a racist old man, and he was in a nursing home. His name was Vernon Paris, Parris. And he went back, his body would have probably gone back to the Asheville, North Carolina area to be buried. I would assume. I don't know. But it was things like that that I had to overcome, like within the last 15 years, to say, I don't want to be ashamed of who I am. And I'm tired of people and mean girls, especially in the corporate world, bullying each other, being mean-spirited to each other, withholding work product from their coworkers to cause them to maybe not meet a deadline or not do as good on something that they could have. Anyway, just mean girl type stuff. I'm gonna make this bed while I finish talking to y'all. So I lived with a lot of that shame, and as white people in America today, we have to really think about what kind of person we want to say and we are when we meet our maker. I have been in the rooms where white people assume I'm on the same team as them and throw around the N-word and proceed to tell me how crappy of a person so-and-so is because he's an N-word. I'm not on your team, sir. Ma'am, I'm not on that team. So what you just told me what I need to know about you, and then I basically just need to stay the hell away from you. Right? So, something about this Nolan Wells stuff today, and the shame and the Nolan Wells is kind of tying it together. Because as a person who stands up for minorities, who has stood up for minorities my entire life, I am Maltese American. I was purposefully put in the black culture by white people because they didn't accept me because I was mixed. It was assumed that I was mixed black and white, when in reality I'm mixed Maltese American. So, I grew up in the black culture. And what I would encourage y'all to do is to have friends, have conversations with people of a different race. Not just have a conversation. Have food together. Sit down and break bread together. Each of you bringing a meal from your place, or meeting in a place and having a cookout, or whatever the case may be. But you have to get inside of someone's life. You have to step into someone's life in order to know them. And as white people, if we saw one African American guy and 1,000 white people, I would have hoped that his friends would have looked out for him better. That's just my opinion. He was grown to a certain extent and could make his own decisions, true enough. However, something needed to be in play that protected him more, especially in the state of Mississippi, which has not grown racially. Everywhere else has grown racially in the nation a little bit. However, Mississippi has stayed 1950 Mississippi, and the mindset of African Americans in Mississippi is still from the 1950s. And I say that because I was married to someone who was from Mississippi, right outside of Meridian, Mississippi, and his mother was not happy that he had chosen white people as his choice as mates or spouses. And although we're no longer together, I mean, his mother was fearful for him and fearful for herself. And while I couldn't necessarily understand her story, but I certainly could empathize with it because I have seen myself and heard the things that are said myself, how white men specifically feel about black people as a whole. So I'm not that person. I'm going to serve God first, and I'm going to do what He has told me that I should do. And I stand with the minority in this nation. I would encourage you to do the same. And I would also encourage you to take that shame off and put it down. Because although it makes me extremely nervous, I'm sweating even talking about this. Because at my age, I know that I'm the most hated person in the room, right along with you. I got it. They've told me that I'm not worth anything either. The fact that I do what I do makes me, in their eyes, less valuable. But in God's eyes, that don't count. What they say does not count. It is negated by what God says. And God says that I'm beautiful, loved, strong, courageous, and I'm a disruptor. Okay? I'm a disruptor. I'm going to disrupt the area that I'm in if I see crap going on that I don't agree with. And before, I was made to feel ashamed about it. Today, I'm not ashamed. I'm standing up for myself. I'm standing up for what's right. I'm going to stand up for other people, and I'm going to step in and always put my money where my mouth is. I've been doing this for the last 7 or 8 years, and I'm not going to stop. We just getting started. So y'all are all put on notice too, okay? I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to put up with it in my life. I'm not going to put up with it in my business. I'm not going to put up with it. We all are good people, all striving for the same thing every day. That's to feed our family, to be good humans, raise our kids, and retire comfortably. It's that simple, okay? We don't have to be millionaires or billionaires. We just all want to get along. And when our kids leave the house, we want them to come home. And I have grandchildren that are mixed black and white. And I don't want anything to happen to any of my kids or grandkids, much less my mixed family at all. So maybe we should really take inventory on who we are. And as women of those white men, those women that go along with it, but you know down deep in your gut you don't want to, then stop and stand up for it. What's going to happen to you? Nothing. This is 2026. Y'all got to get it together. And it starts with the women at home. In order to change your home, you have to start there. You start right there. Biblically, you start right there. And if you want to belong to this white evangelical Christian cult club, be my guest. I don't have to have a building with a roof and a bunch of people in it singing hymns to be in relation with God. God has chosen me and chooses me every single day. And he chooses you every day too. Okay? I'm no better and no different. He chooses you because you're his child and he loves you as much as he loves me. So I'm going to get on with my day. And those haters are going to keep on hating. That just gives me fuel. Hate away, baby. Y'all have a good day.